All right, welcome to Chemistry B orientation for Block 2. If you were around for Block 1 with me, some of this stuff will be familiar. But just a little bit about me. I've been happily married as of Saturday for 5 years. So that's my husband in the center there with me. And then we have 3 wonderful cat children and a couple of things that are interests in my life are at Disneyland. We've been there. We went there for our honeymoon. We went for my birthday last year, things like that. And then when I have some free time, a game I like to play is World of Warcraft. For anyone who's familiar with that, I have a level 100 no Morlock. So I always like to start out the block by talking about our Kids at Hope motto. This is what I see for you guys as. I see you as a kid at Hope. I see that you are a talented, smart, successful person. Okay. We all have different areas that we excel in, right? And I'm not going to hold it against you if it's not science, right? I'm just going to do whatever I can to make sure that you do have some success in here, because I know that you have dreams for the future and you're trying to get through high school to get there, and you're trying to do whatever you need to get there. So I see my job as your teacher to help you do that. Whether it's to help you become an expert in science and become the next Einstein, or if it's to help you just get through this class so that you can move on to what your passions are. Okay. Let's see. This is only going to be relevant for this week, but if you are interested in going to a live meeting with some of your classmates, if you're in the Flagstaff area on Friday, this is something you can do. And I will post, let's see if I can copy the link now. I'll try to post that link into the video. Hopefully the video chat, hopefully that'll end up being live for you. There we go. So if we were doing this in Blackboard, I would have used the next couple of slides to do some practice with the tools. But just so you know, these 4 icons are things that you'll probably use every once in a while, especially the smiley face. That's a quick, easy way to give me an okay. So if I ask you, can you hear me? If you show me a smiley, that's a good sign. The away button, please use it if you happen to step away from the computer and aren't going to be able to answer questions. That way I'm not sitting there waiting for you. Okay. The raise your hand, when I'm doing something like this, presenting, and it's taking up the whole screen, I can't see if you type something in the chat box. The raise your hand when you click on it makes a noise. So that's a good way to get my attention to come back and check things. And then the very last one, the poll tool, this is a good way to get a good, with the check X, a yes, no sort of question. I can also change it to make it ABCD. So just be prepared to use those on occasion when we're in class. And I would have had you do this with the whiteboard tools, but this isn't Blackboard, unfortunately. So with the class, it's Block B. So I know a lot of people have already dealt with and probably gone through the growing pains with the new online high school. But if you are new, come to a help session. Okay, they show up over here every day from, let's see, 8:30 to 9 and noon to 1. I'll walk you through everything. Okay. Or if you're just rusty on it from last block or didn't quite figure things out, come and I'll walk you through. But your classes are right here. You're gonna click on Chemistry B. A couple other useful things, you can access Kmail here. It should pop up telling you if you have Kmails. Not something you want to ignore. And then this plan gives you everything to do coming up soon, but that's for all of your classes. So if you find that a little overwhelming, there's something similar to that inside your classes. So if you click on Chemistry B, the plan area changes to just the assignments for Chemistry B. You guys have an extra box up top here that shows your progress in the class. This is a good thing to keep track of. Right now it's going to look like you have no progress, but that makes sense because we're at the beginning of the class. If 3 weeks from now you still have no progress, then that's becoming a problem. Okay. Other things to pay attention to under course materials. And I'm going to actually walk you through this. This is a good folder to pay attention to because it has access to online copies of the problem and solution book, online copy of the lab manual, and this is also where I will post live recordings like this. You can access your course materials here too, but something I like better, because you know how many you're supposed to do in a day, that sort of thing, is the plan. This plan on the front page doesn't, if you miss the assignment, it still disappears once the date is passed. Okay, so everything that was due on October 12th doesn't show up on there anymore. So to access everything in the whole plan, regardless of whether or not you completed things, you'll want to click on this plan button right here. Okay, so I'm actually gonna pause the sharing on this part. And I'm going to share chemistry page so we can start going through a couple of things on here. Okay, so class news. I'm going to try to get better about updating this on more of a daily basis, but it should be updated at least every couple of days. So like today, it was updated with what we were going to do in class and some things you wanted to try to have ready. But over here in course materials, very first thing is your course recordings. All right, so some of these are going to be live sessions. I'll try to, since I'm teaching a bunch of classes this block, I'm not going to have daily live sessions with you, so I'll try to include some extra recordings to help with the content here. And then other things, the chemistry problems and solutions, that's a link to that book virtually and the laboratory guide, though you should be receiving these in actual physical copies. You should also be receiving a laboratory kit that'll have all the non kind of household stuff that you wouldn't be able to, that you normally wouldn't have, like potassium chloride and hydrochloric acid and things like that, and some graduated cylinders and things. So if you haven't gotten that yet and you don't have it by this Friday, contact me. So let's look at the plan. So plan, you want it to be on month view like I have here, right? Because if you go to day view, it'll have stuff, but sometimes things are all day assignments, or I set things up as a lot of times it's due by this day. Okay, so down here. So you may not see it depending on what time you're looking at on the calendar. So I like the month view. So, and then you can just go to, like, let's see, light pink is chemistry. And this was something that was today. So that you probably see multicolors as well, but it's your classes instead of the classes that I teach. So just figure out which color goes with each one. You can change them up here. So if I think I need to change my chemistry and forensic science because they're too close to each other. I get confused as far as which one's which. But if you click on more, this is the kind of the content area of the assignment that's due. Okay, so gas laws. You can, and I always suggest start with the first one, go all the way through. You can also, if you're looking at the plan, if you notice that everything is just consecutive in order, because we're going 1 1, 1 2, 1 4, 1 or 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, 1 6. Okay, you can just keep hitting that next button and continue going. Occasionally you will run into where I skip something. Skip stuff oftentimes ends up, if there was anything graded in it, I make it extra credit, so you don't necessarily have to skip it, but you can to save time if you need to. Let's see. So one other thing I wanted to show in the PowerPoint presentation was what your graded assignments look like. All right. I had a few people who kind of figured this out at the very end of the block, and if they'd known it earlier, they might have been a little less frustrated with what was going on. So just in case you're not aware of these, as you're going through the curriculum material, you see a piece of paper with a blue question mark on it. That's a graded quiz or test. So you definitely want to make sure you take that. Okay. The blue file folder with paper, that is a Dropbox assignment. Okay, so this is going to be something where either you have a file you need to download and fill out and then re-upload, or maybe you have to create something and upload it to me. Okay. These are many labs are Dropbox assignments. Every test has a part 2 that's a Dropbox assignment. You can't skip all the Dropbox assignments and still pass the class. Okay. You can skip maybe a couple, but don't skip all of them. And then discussion assignments have these little speech bubbles. So this is where you will post a response to some questions, and then discussion assignments always have part of the grade tied to responding to one of your classmates. Okay, so when the due date pops up for discussion assignment, that's the due date for your initial post, and then I'll give you to the end of the week to get your response post done. Okay, then this last icon, this is the one you see most frequently with the little orange strip down at the bottom. This isn't a graded assignment. It's your textbook. It's your content. It's the learning information that you need to go through. Okay, so if you're skipping this stuff and you're finding the graded assignments are really hard, go back and read through these things. Sometimes you might be able to get away with ignoring it. Depends on what your previous learning in from other classes is and your memory and things like that. But for the most part, these are the most important because they get you points. But generally, you can't do well on the point assignments unless you go through the curriculum materials. Okay. So I'm not going, let's see, ignore this for right now. I actually need to update that, and I'm going to do that now. So something, I am teaching 4 different classes this block, so I'm actually having to decrease our time to 1 day. So Wednesdays are going to be chemistry days. Science help will still be 4 days a week, okay, Tuesday through Friday. You can still K-mail me. You can set up one-on-ones with me. Another thing I've added, if you have Skype, you can Skype me. My handle is SciTeacher24. Just, let me know who you are. Otherwise, I'll probably ignore you. And my phone number is 623. Don't know why I don't have this memorized, but 748-9462. Okay. So just something to keep in mind that's going to be different from last block. First off, not having classes often, but second off, the labs are going to be very different. You guys are getting kits, so you're going to have to physically do the labs yourself. All right. I'm going to use the due dates that I've set up in class as a chance to go through, show you what it should look like, and then actually give you till the end of the day Sunday to get the lab turned in. So definitely come or watch the recordings for the labs, because once I use my materials, I can't do it again. So that's really going to be my only option. So it'll be more meaningful if I have you guys there and you ask me questions as it's happening. But of course, you can ask me questions later and I might have to reference the video to see if I can explain what I mean. But if you can come for the lab videos, try to. One other difference from last block is we have 8 units instead of 6. They are many of them are short units. So overall, it's not necessarily more content, but that does mean you're going to have 8 labs, 8 tests, 8 Dropbox assignments to go with the tests. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So, halfway point, you want to be through 4 units instead of 3 units like last time. Okay, I think that covers everything. Let's see. In the course materials area, there's going to be 2 links, a survey and a quiz. Oh, and I'm actually, that are going to be required for you to do in order to get the 5 points for attending. So this first link that I'm putting in, this is the RSVP for the Flagstaff event. Sorry, that kind of got jumbled. The second link I'm going to put in is the survey link. So survey link is coming next. And the last link is going to be the quiz. And I need to go find that really quick. Just to make sure that the major points made it across, since you weren't here to ask any questions. Sorry for not having that at the ready. And this link. If for some reason these don't show up on the recording, they will also be available under course materials. Thank you.